I've been really bad the past couple of weeks and I haven't recorded anything for YouTube. So the video that you see was recorded a couple of hours ago. I try and normally be very organised in the way I do things. I try and sort of plan a couple of weeks or months in advance. However, we've had a lot of things going on, so that's kind of slipped down the drain, so to speak. But hello. I should probably introduce myself. Hello, my name's Charlotte, and welcome to my studio. So I do have a couple of secrets to share with you. The first of which is I've had a haircut. Sometimes you just need to feel fresh, and halfway through our holiday it was just annoying me enough that I was like, nah, I need this cut. So I booked a hair appointment and got it logged off. And it's finally at that length where it's grown into where I wanted it to be, because I accidentally got it cut too short. If you've ever had that, I feel you. It got too short and then it was like, oh no, what do I do with this? But alas, number two, I've already kind of shared with you. We're back from Japan. Japan. What a beautiful, beautiful country it is. I will be sharing more about my adventures through Japan, as well as the wonderful stack of stuff behind me of things that I've purchased, and what I'm going to do with them. However, today is more about me in the studio. So I changed my studio around. It got refloored and I bought in a desk and another unit to hold all of my items. And it has definitely become a place that I really, really enjoy spending in here. There's so much light that now comes in, and I feel like with having all the big stuff at the back wall, it really allows me to enjoy the light space that is in front of me. And also, may I point out, fabulous lighting for YouTube videos. Bonus. So since then, I've showed you the bringing everything back in, or emptying it, bringing everything back in and sorting through my craft stuff. But I haven't actually shown you my studio now that it is finished. I say finished with a hint of salt, because really, is it ever finished? And then I'm going to take you through some of my explorations in my sketchbook that I've done since I've come back, using some ideas that I collected whilst I was away, as well as some exploration, some playtime with some new materials. Maybe not new to me, but definitely new to the sketchbook. So I'm going to finish waffling. We will talk about Japan in future videos. I do promise you it's coming up very, very soon, and I will definitely plan this one better. However, let's have a look around my art studio. So my art studio is positioned at the back of the house. So I'm about halfway down the garden, which is quite nice because it means that I see all the birds and everything as they come by. I do have, of course, some plants in my studio. And here it is as I walk in. I do love the floor. It is one of the reasons why I've enjoyed spending so much time in here, because I can sit in my chair and wheel myself around. So this is my main desk. This is where everything happens. You can see the remnants of lunch. I had a really nice rice, salmon, carrot and broccoli little fry up. Behind my desk I have some local artists' work, as well as some work of my own that I've done, and photos of me and my husband and our travels away. And these beauties. Look at them. I've collected them from almost all around the world, and my collection grows a little bit more each time. I would like, I think, some more greenery in the middle there. However, it is a beautiful selection. I do have a massive screen, as I normally have about 3 tabs of things open, or I need a large reference photo for when I'm drawing. And directly opposite there, you can see my tripod ready for when I was doing the intro. However, this desk points straight out into our garden, which means that I get all the natural light, and also I can swivel my chair around to that desk, so I kind of can use it double-sided. Continuing in, this canvas still has not been touched. I feel really bad. I will come to it. And this canvas here, I started in September last year, and I will get to that one again. However, this surface underneath is where all my wool and my craft stuff is. So let's see if I can even open one of these, because these are so full. Oh yeah, that one's probably my most empty one. So this one's a load of cross-stitch kits, all kept nice and neat. Some of them are in bags, project bags, and some of them are just loose. I do have 4 that I can't easily access, where I do have to move this desk. However, it's so easily movable. Same with this chair. Just shuffle it in. This one, it's definitely more full. So this is all yarn, mainly double knit. I think this is my acrylic pot. So I've tried to separate all my wool into acrylic. I think that's bits and pieces, as well as non-acrylic, and then non-acrylic in that one as well. And these acrylic ones are perfect for blankets, perfect for like baby blankets. But as well as that, like, look at some of these colours. Like, look at that, gorgeous colours. I've been making loads of baby hats. So I will probably end up using some of these balls, like this one, for things like baby hats. Because, like, I probably wouldn't use this colour or these colours for much of anything. So they are absolutely perfect for little projects like that. And then I will use the odds and ends for things like a dinosaur. If you haven't seen a dinosaur project already, head to my... Oh, this is where I can't remember anything. I'll pop it in the description. I'm sure something will pop up here. You may have seen these 2 wonderful cases in one of my recent videos where I go through them and have a look at some of my old artwork. And then the beauty in the back here, if I move around, is where most of my storage is. So in here, I have everything from sketchbooks, smaller canvases. I've got odds and ends there, and these odds and ends have a little story. All of them do. If I come on over, just so you can have a nosy with me. These are all things that I can use as backgrounds, stick down. So I've got loads of tissue paper. I've got a medical book that I use as backgrounds, kind of things that I've previously painted on or used to dab down. And then over here, I actually have loads of records and record cases that have been broken. And of course, some paper to stick down when I need to. Ooh. Oh, okay. So that's kind of like the odds and ends box for things I can use for, like, in my sketchbooks, have a play with. I have loads of paper, loads. If I look behind here, there's more artwork, official documents, because you always need some of those. And then in here, it kind of gives me an excuse to, you can see all my wrapped up little canvases, as well as other bigger paints and materials and things like that. And these useful things, these I use as canvas props or photo frame props, and they are so handy. They may not be perfect, however, they live in that box because you collect so many things as an artist, especially when you start displaying. So if I walk back over here, watching the dog's toys are everywhere, bless him. The majority of stuff in here is things that I might not need immediately, but when I'm doing projects and things, they are very useful. And then over in the corner here, of course, we have the dog chair. He is currently, I want to say he's sunning himself somewhere in the house. So he often jumps onto this chair and has a snooze. You may see him in the back of some videos. But the the magical drawers. These drawers used to have everything from paints to pens to brushes and all sorts. However, I have changed a little bit. So this top drawer contains all my Posca pens, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about in a minute. And then we carry on with the pens themes. These are the miscellaneous pens. Pen sets. They are all jumbled together, but they are sets in there. And then writing and drawing pens. And in yellow, you've got coloured pencils. You've got sets in green. Other sets in like the turquoise. Light blue is even more sets, because apparently that's what I collect. Then you've got normal drawing pencils and then paintbrushes and painting items at the bottom. There's a toothbrush in there somewhere. My bigger canvases though, so this back one is 1 meter by 1 meter, and all my others sit on top of there with me. And I know I covered this when I first came into the studio and was revamping it, but my wall, and I love that I have another plant in here. I've also got a wall here. This is a, I want to say 50 by 50 canvas. So this wall can reach 1 meter by 1 meter canvas. So I can hang it up here and take photos and things. At the moment, I do have a plan of everything that I want to do and achieve this year and how I'm going to get there. So that is very, very lovely. It's a huge space, to be honest. Like, if I stand at this end with the dog toys and pan up, like, you can just see how big this space is. That is a 4x4 IKEA unit, and there is a fly in here, which is really, really annoying. I'm so happy with this space, with how it's come together, with how I can be in it, how comfortable I am in it, that my husband doesn't feel like he's intruding on my space, how I've got the dog bed ready for when he comes in, and all of his dog toys, that I can play with ideas and space and just have this for myself. I know that I'm incredibly lucky to have this space and to have the art goals that I have. Oh, there's new growth. Oh, beautiful. And this jar is going to come in handy once I've shown you a few things from my Project Buster series. So you'll see more about that jar very, very soon. However, I'm going to show you some of this. So sadly, my normal tripod is somewhere else at the moment, so I will try my best standing over this tripod to show you the artwork that I've been working on. One that I completed quite literally yesterday, if I can find it, was this one. And I'm not gonna lie, this is the first time I think I've gotten a headache from one of my line drawings. So instead of drawing one line across the page, you might be able to see that this one converges in different places. And what I've done is I've drawn several squiggly shapes and some of them layered, some of them on their own, to get this kind of merge of lines. My husband showed it to my husband. He was like, "That's kind of psychedelic." Behind here are pages from that medical journal that I showed you, and then I've previously painted like yellow circles all over the pages, and honestly my brain really hurt from this. I'm going to try, or I would like to try on like a plain page. I don't know if there's one nearby, or some teeth, maybe on like this one, to see how that affects it. But that took me quite literally a couple of days. The other explorations I've done, so much like the pages I showed you in that box, I do that in here as well. But those Posca pens, I played around with those. So I was really interested in layers after seeing a couple of Instagram artists, and seeing how they affect kind of what I'm drawing. I really like these 2 pages because you can see the different layers whilst also letting them merge. I have to say it's way more trippy on camera, especially because I'm using cinematic mode. Sorry, but in person you can kind of see those layers build up. Perhaps a little bit more and even a little bit less than on camera. But you can see where they've all gone into the same range, into the same area here. So they've layered on top of each other without even planning it. I think that's because it is 3 different shapes instead of 2 different things. So on this one of the sets of lines I think went across this way, and then this one went across this way. So it's quite easy to sort of determine, or it's easier perhaps to determine where the lines go, especially the top layer. I really just wanted to play with how the Posca pens worked in layers, and then this one was an accidental kind of experiment of the pack of pens that I used, because inspired by an artist while I was over in Japan, they did a lot of line work, a lot of shape work, much like I do, and then they cut out parts of the pieces to then put it on another piece. And I really wanted to like play with this idea, so instead I did it in a sketchbook, which means that you can see through to the next page. And I just worked through I did all the pages first, then I cut out triangles from random areas of the page. It wasn't planned. And then as I went through, I randomly picked a triangle that wasn't from that page to go onto the page. So this page, I wasn't actually meant to cut a triangle out, however I accidentally did, which leads us to the black page here. Halfway through these, I was really like, I'm not sure I'm going to finish this. I think it was this one. This one put me off. And then like a few days later, I just sat down. I was like, do you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm just going to get on with it and play, because that's what I've wanted to do this year. I've wanted to play and explore, and I think I'm finally letting myself do it. And the end result I am so proud of. I'm really happy, and it's kind of shown me that I can do this. I can play and explore and use different materials, and then that's what led me on to doing this psychedelic piece, unintentional psychedelic piece. So I now have a lot of ideas of what I can do with backgrounds, with layers. I really want to draw a couple of hand designs, like I have previously done, but with Posca pens, to see how they work out. I do have a commission that I'm due to start soon that will involve hands, and the inspiration uses a lot of sparkles as well, and I do have a couple of sparkly metallic Posca pens. They're definitely a lot bolder compared to some of these line works, which are very controlled. These ones back here are still controlled, however I feel like because they're thicker lines, they're just that little bit more in your face, and I'd like to see how something like this translates to something larger. That might be something that I play with in the future, after I have drawn up a few other ideas. So that was a whole load of information about what I've been up to in my sketchbook, what my studio now looks like, and also some future plans, and a sneak peek into future videos, which includes Japan. So with all this, I'm going to head off. I am going to schedule, edit, and do everything I need to for this video as I have recorded it this morning. We love pre-planning. And then I'm going to go get on with some other admin that I have to do today before I go off to teach some pole fitness. That'll be another story if you want it. and then I'm going to get on creating more ideas. I have plans to get back onto canvases and big pieces in the next couple of weeks, touch wood, and I will share that journey with you. As I mentioned, this jar will come into play in the next few weeks in the Project Buster series. The Project Buster series is where I try and complete some craft projects before starting new ones. So you may have some ideas about what that jar might hold. However, that is another secret I will reveal another time. Thank you for joining me today on this whistle-stop tour of my studio here in Wiltshire in the UK and of this sketchbook. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time.